Hello everyone, and welcome back to a GT scale modelling video. This video is going to be update number 1 on my entry into the Pricks of Plastic Russian group build. It's more of a buddy build, group build between the guys on the Pricks of Plastic page. Basically build anything Russian. I'm fairly sure anybody can join in. Head over to the Pricks of Plastic page on Facebook and you'll find out more about it. So my entry is Trumpeters 1/35 scale 2S7, the Pion or Peony in the NATO parlance, and it's a self-propelled gun. As most of you possibly know who follow this channel, you know I have a thing for SPGs. They're just cool, and this one's no exception. It's based on a modified T80 chassis, but as you can see here, from this view, the crew compartment is at the front here, and we actually have a second crew compartment here. And the gun is actually then mounted externally. The gun's not started yet, so it will sit here. I'm building the kit out the box, bar the addition of an RB Models metal barrel. On a barrel this size, it's not a complex barrel, so you could sand the seam in that relatively easily. There's no funny bore evacuators or thermal sleeves or anything to get around. But it's just easier, it's one piece, it's rifled at the end, and as you can see, it's a bit of a monster. So I'll just take you through what I've built so far. This is actually still several sub-assemblies. The front cab top is still separate, not cleaned up yet, it was just sat in place. You do get a... I'd say it's more than basic. It's not super detailed, but it's more than basic interior for the main crew compartment. We have a driver's position with steering levers, some pedals, and a photo etch gear selector console. Although I do appear to have forgotten to actually put the gear lever in, so I will have to rectify that. There are two side consoles which I've left loose for now, just so I can paint those separately, then plop them in just to make it easier, that have various radios and the driver's instrument panel, junction boxes. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could add some wire to these and stuff maybe, but it won't be seen at all. Even if you have the hatches open, they're pretty small and they'll be dark enough to the side that, yeah, you could if you wanted, but I didn't bother. And then we have 3 crew seats. We also have a patterned floor. So I think there's no seat belts or anything, but whether they had belts or not, I don't know. I guess they possibly had some kind of lap belt. I'm not bothering to add any. Although, that would be the view you would see if you were to look down through the hatches, would be straight onto some of the seats. So maybe I'll have to have a look and see at some reference pictures if that was a feature. So I'm just going to have a quick check that you're still in frame. Yeah. So moving back, we have, I assume, I don't know for sure, but I assume the engine sits in this compartment here in this vehicle. This is where we have some big vents, which I assume possibly sit above the radiators. There are photo etch screens to go on here, which I haven't added yet. Gun travel lock, it does function, which I quite like that. I think it just gives you that option to have it yourself. Very occasionally I do that on the other SPGs myself. I go and just put all the barrels up for a little while, just because it makes it something different. There's a storage box here with some spare track links. This box is openable, and there was a whole load of, I think they might be like machine gun ammo tins or something, that all you piled up inside here, but if you shut the door it's entirely pointless, so I didn't bother because it was a load of work I wasn't going to see. So the door's glued shut, and I don't really fancy having it sitting with every hatch open. So they are glued shut. Some photo etch grills up here, which kind of look like they don't fit very well, but that's the way they are, so I assume they do hang over in real life. Another kind of general stowage box sits here. Like a lot of Russian tanks, there's a lot of sort of fender. These could be fuel tanks, I don't know. There's another storage box here, which I've just broken the handle off of. It's all gone Pete Tong. Right, let's bring them out of the way. As you can see, top and lower halves are not glued together yet. Started adding some of the detail around the what will be the gun position. Rear plate. That's pretty much it for the top half. Actually, there's two hatches here. There's another crew compartment here, which I'll show you in a second. I was maybe going to pose those hatches open, but all you'd see is a really basic interior, which I'll show you in just a second, so there's probably not much point. This is the second crew compartment with some very flat, very slightly raised sort of water can detail on each side, and that's about it, and what looks to be like a mimic of a interior light. As you can hopefully see from the all the white putty here, this bit was PoP marked with injector pin marks, which if you were going to have those middle hatches open, you would have to definitely sand it. I mean, I did it anyway just in case, but there's literally just two sort of very vague bench seats and that's about it, so not much going on there. Moving to the rear, there's some kind of hydraulic sort of system here, which possibly may link into the rear sort of recoil spade, which is quite a prominent feature of the back of this vehicle. These are not glued on. Wheels are all made nicely detailed. Suspension, most of it will be seen. There's only very slight fenders on these, so you'll have to do a full run of tracks. And there is optional just broken the steering levers off. How do you manage that? Optional positioning for the rear idler. You can have it in this position, which I believe is the driving position because it gives the tracks a more natural look, or you can have it in this position, which I assume hunkers the back of the vehicle down a bit or something, and it basically changes the geometry of the tracks, whether it's in a firing or a driving position. So I'm going to have mine in a firing position just because it's cool. It makes the track run look a little bit sort of unique in its shape, which is quite cool. And I'll have to repair that now. Moving to the back, I'll try and bring this a bit closer and we'll try and see this. So, around these towing points here, I added some extra weld detail. There was none. I had a weld detail on the bottom plate as well, and around there. Sorry if that's not focusing. There we go. Now I did add some somewhere else, and now I'm trying to remember where it was. Bear with me a wee second. Oh, that's where it was. Yeah. On the underside of the front. I did the same thing around here. It's a little messier here, but I mean, it's a Russian vehicle, and I'll maybe sand it back a wee touch. And once it's had a layer of paint on it and stuff, I think it'll probably look quite good. There we go. So, what else? So, I have built all the wheels up. They're just wheels, no poly caps, which is a bit annoying. I don't know why Trumpeters don't do this, it annoys me. Here's just another detail part, one of the fender boxes with a grill on it, ready to, come on, focus. Focus. It's because there's stuff behind it. There we go. Storage box with various parts. I kind of textured the grill there a little bit, kind of pushed it in a little bit so it's not uniform, which is quite good. So that's just ready for installation on the other side. So that's the next job really, is to go around and complete the various details on the upper hull. Another couple of storage boxes, some tow hook towing cable eyelets get installed first, and then you just put the cable in between them, which I think is probably quite a good way to do it. What else? There is like an access ladder thing, which goes, where does it go? Goes here somewhere and hangs off the side, but I can just see that getting broken, so I will leave that off for just now. Let's just take a quick look at the barrel. So this is the barrel, according to my mat, is something like 10 inches long or something. It's pretty big. Let's see if we can see this. Probably not. There we go. So hopefully you can see that there is there is actual rifling machined into the end of this, which is quite cool. Nice detail, which isn't present on the plastic version in the kit, which is just normal 2 halves. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to cut this here just to keep that relatively short. Just a quick update on my entry into the Pricks Plastic Russian group build. I've now got some repairs to do to this, a couple of handles to put back on, and then I'll be carrying on with the build. And once I've made a bit more progress, I'll come back with a second update video for you all. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.